The galaxy had changed. Stars twinkled in patterns humans would have recognized if they were still awake. But for 10,000 years, humanity had been silent. Civilizations had risen and fallen, empires had grown and collapsed, and countless species had spread across the stars. The legends of humans, whispered in distant sectors, had become myths, stories told to frighten young aliens into obedience. "They say they were unstoppable," said Commander Trelk of the Arvian fleet. His forearms twitched nervously as he studied the ancient holographic maps. But 10,000 years? That is more than half the time since the Great Void Wars. They could be extinct. "Or asleep," replied his aide, a smaller, blue-scaled creature named Viri. Her voice carried a tone of excitement mixed with fear. "What if we wake them by mistake?" "Impossible," Trelk said confidently. "Humans are gone. They were wiped out. No one could survive 10,000 years without collapsing. No one." Yet the humans had never truly vanished. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in bunkers, caverns, and secret underground cities, the planet slept. AI systems created by the humans before their disappearance maintained the world in perfect balance. These AIs guarded every secret, repaired every system, and waited for the moment their creators would return. And that moment was closer than anyone imagined. At the edge of the Milky Way, the Arvian fleet approached a long-abandoned human station, drifting silently in orbit around a lifeless planet. Its design was unlike anything the Arvians had seen before. Smooth metal surfaces, elegant arcs, and strange symbols that seemed to glow faintly with energy. The station had been dormant for centuries, yet sensors showed faint power readings. Trelk's claws brushed over the control panel. "We will investigate. We need the technology. If humans left anything behind, it could give us the power to dominate the sector." Viri hesitated. "Are you sure it is safe? The legends, the stories?" Humans were not just strong. They were clever, cunning, and ruthless. "We don't know what this station is capable of." "Legends are for those who fear what they cannot touch," Trelk said. "We will touch it now." With that, the Arvians entered the station. The doors closed silently behind them, sealing them inside the dark corridors. Their lights swept across the walls, revealing intricate carvings and strange, glowing conduits. Viri felt a chill run through her scales. This technology, it was old, yet somehow alive. "Look at this," Viri whispered. She pointed to a circular pedestal in the center of the main chamber. A faint hum rose from the pedestal, and as Trelk approached, a holographic panel flickered to life. Symbols rearranged themselves, forming a strange pattern that neither Arvian had seen before. Trelk stepped closer, curiosity overpowering caution. "What does it do?" Before anyone could answer, he touched the panel. The station shivered as if awakening from a long sleep. Lights glowed brighter, corridors hummed with energy, and the pedestal opened, revealing a deep, spherical core pulsing with light. "What have we done?" Viri hissed. Far below, deep within Earth, the first signs of awakening began. In the quiet tunnels and vast underground cities, humans stirred. Their eyes opened after 10,000 years, sharp and alert. Muscles that had rested for millennia flexed naturally, as though no time had passed. Their minds, honed through centuries of preparation, immediately assessed the situation. A voice echoed through the AI network. "Humans, awaken. The galaxy has forgotten why it should fear you." The first human to rise was Commander Arik Voss, a legend even in stories. His body, preserved through advanced stasis, now moved with the confidence of a warrior returned from battle. Around him, other humans awoke in synchronized patterns, their training and instincts intact. They did not panic. They did not stumble. Humans had not slept. They had prepared. Their systems, designed to adapt and learn, had guided them through centuries of simulated experiences. In these simulations, humans had faced every conceivable threat, solved impossible puzzles, and prepared for every scenario that might arise in the galaxy. Arik's first thought was simple. The galaxy is awake, and it is ignorant of what we are. Within hours, humans assessed the state of Earth. AI systems reported the movements of alien fleets, communications, and energy signals that indicated unusual activity near the outer edge of the Milky Way. Humans realized immediately that someone had tampered with ancient human technology. "They are curious," said Arik quietly, "and curiosity is dangerous when it wakes a sleeping giant." Meanwhile, Trelk and Viri had triggered something far beyond their understanding. The station's core projected a massive hologram of Earth, showing the underground cities and the sleeping humans. The hologram pulsed, sending a signal across light years to every AI and automated system humanity had left behind. On Earth, humans responded. Automated defense systems activated, not in attack, but in protection. Ancient warships, long buried under ice and rock, rose to the surface. Communication arrays, preserved in hidden satellites, linked humans across the planet instantly. Within hours, humanity was awake, not as vulnerable, but as a calculated force. Trelk and Viri had no idea what they had done. They were about to learn. The humans' first appearance above ground was striking. Ships rose from hidden bays, gliding silently through the atmosphere. Soldiers, engineers, and strategists moved as one, disciplined and coordinated. The sky above Earth filled with vessels unlike anything seen in the galaxy for millennia. A transmission reached Trelk and Viri's station. It was a voice, calm, confident, and unmistakably human. "Who are you, and why have you disturbed our rest?" Trelk froze. His confidence faltered for the first time in his career. They are alive?" "They were never gone," Viri whispered, fear evident in her voice. The humans did not attack. Not yet. But every alien sensor in orbit detected the message. Humans are awake. Humans remember. Humans know. Trelk realized, with growing horror, that the stories were true. The humans had been the most dominant species in the galaxy. Their disappearance had been a mystery, a cautionary tale. Now, after 10,000 years, they were awake, and they were no longer naive. The first human fleet moved with precision, scanning the Arvian station. Automated systems calculated every possibility, from defense to diplomacy to strategic strike. Humans were ready for anything. Arik Voss stood on the bridge of a restored command ship, looking at the holographic data streaming before him. Every alien civilization that had risen during humanity's absence was visible. Every fleet, every power center. Humans had slept, but the galaxy had not paused. "They think we are gone," Arik said quietly. "They think legends are only stories. Let's remind them what humans truly are." The first warning came as a beam of light, harmless but precise, targeting the Arvian station. Trelk and Viri watched in terror as the humans demonstrated control over technology that should have been dormant for 10,000 years. "Do they know we are here?" Viri asked. Arik's voice echoed through their communications. "We know. And now you will know why humans should never be awakened lightly." The aliens realized too late that curiosity had awakened something far greater than themselves. The humans had slept for 10,000 years not out of weakness, but to prepare. And now they were awake, and the galaxy had forgotten the danger they posed. As Earth's surface began to shine with the first signs of humanity reclaiming its power, one thought ran through every human mind. The galaxy would remember. Not tomorrow. Not in a week. But from this moment forward, every species would learn why humans, even after 10,000 years of slumber, were still the apex intelligence. And the humans were just beginning. The galaxy was watching, though most of it didn't even know it yet. In the sectors closest to Earth, alien species had begun to notice something unusual: signals, pulses, and movements unlike anything in the last 10,000 years. Some called it a miracle. Others whispered warnings of a sleeping giant finally awakening. Deep in orbit above Earth, Commander Arik Voss stood on the bridge of the human command ship HFY. Below him, a fleet of restored and newly built vessels stretched across the sky, glowing with energy collected from centuries of preserved technology. Every ship, every crew member, had been carefully revived, trained, and prepared during humanity's long slumber. "Status report," Arik said, his voice calm but commanding. Alien vessels detected in the outer sectors, replied Lieutenant Kara Min, her hands flying over the holographic display. They appear to be scouting forces, likely unaware of our full capabilities. Unaware indeed, Arik murmured. They will soon learn. The first strike was not an attack in anger, but an attack in intelligence. Humans had spent 10,000 years in simulations, perfecting strategies and predicting countless scenarios. They knew how the aliens would react, because in a sense they had already practiced it. A small Arvian fleet, only a fraction of what humanity could now muster, approached cautiously, believing the planet unguarded. Trelk's claws twitched nervously as his sensors detected the massive human presence rising from beneath Earth's crust. "Is this real?" Viri whispered, fear creeping into her usually calm voice. Trelk's pride faltered. It cannot be. Humans were extinct. They cannot exist. But the evidence was undeniable. Human ships moved with coordinated precision. They were not scattered, chaotic, or improvising. Every vessel had a purpose, every crew member knew their role, and every system responded instantly. The first warning came in the form of a silent pulse, a warning signal that lit the alien fleet's sensors. It was a simple message, transmitted through all frequencies the Arvians used. "This is humanity. You have awakened us. Consider this your first and only warning." No weapons fired yet, but the message alone caused confusion. Alien ships began transmitting to each other, questioning what they were seeing. Trelk growled, "Prepare to defend yourselves. They cannot attack us from this distance." Humans did not attack yet. They waited, analyzing the alien fleet, mapping weaknesses, and calculating the optimal approach. Then, with precision only humans could achieve, the first strike began. A wave of targeted pulses disabled the Arvian communication arrays. No shots, no missiles, just a carefully calculated electromagnetic pulse that rendered the fleet blind. Ships floated in space, unable to respond or coordinate. The Arvians panicked, clawing at controls and trying to regain systems, but it was too late. "Impossible!" Viri shrieked. "How can they do this? They were gone for 10,000 years." "They never left," Arik said quietly over encrypted channels, his voice calm. "We were always here. We waited. We prepared. And now, we act." Next, human fighters emerged from hidden bays in stealth mode. Ships built to mimic shadows, to move faster than sensors could detect. Struck at vulnerable points in the Arvian fleet. Energy cores overloaded, propulsion systems failed, and the Arvian vessels began to drift helplessly in orbit. Trelk realized the truth too late. Humans were not only back, they were evolved. Their tactics were flawless, combining centuries of strategic planning with instincts honed over millennia. Every move the aliens made had already been anticipated, every weakness exploited. Meanwhile, back on Earth, humans were not idle. Ground defenses activated in case of orbital retaliation. Ancient missile silos and defense grids that had lain dormant for thousands of years powered up, manned by automated AI operators, ready to protect their planet. "We are not just waking," Arik said to his bridge crew. "We are reclaiming what was always ours." The battle lasted mere hours, though it could have been mistaken for days by the alien observers. By the end, the Arvian fleet was in shambles. Ships lay disabled, some drifting out of control, others captured by human grappling technologies. Trelk and Viri barely managed to escape in a small shuttle, shaken and fearful. "What do we do now?" Viri asked, her voice trembling. They are unstoppable." Trelk shook his head. We report this. We must warn the others. Humanity has returned." Meanwhile, Arik did not celebrate. Victory was expected, but humanity's work had just begun. The galaxy had grown complacent during their absence. Civilizations had expanded, often recklessly, believing no other species could challenge them. Humans would remind them otherwise. "Prepare a message," Arik commanded. "Not a threat, not yet. Just the truth." A transmission was sent to every nearby star system, in every known language, both human and alien. "Humans have returned. We are awake. We are ready." Any who wish to challenge us will learn why legends speak of humanity's power. Choose wisely. Across the galaxy, confusion and fear spread. Some species dismissed it as propaganda, stories of an extinct race trying to intimidate. Others, who remembered the old tales, panicked. Entire fleets were recalled to home systems. Councils convened to discuss the unthinkable. Humans were not only alive, but fully capable of reclaiming the galaxy. On the human side, the fleet did not rest. Scouts were sent to monitor the movements of distant alien systems. Ancient star lanes, long unused, were restored. Humans analyzed every civilization that had risen in their absence, determining potential allies, threats, and opportunities. Auric stood on the bridge looking at the stars. "We do not seek war," he said, "but we do not cower. The galaxy has forgotten us. We will remind it, not with fear alone, but with action when necessary." As night fell on Earth, the humans were everywhere and nowhere at once. Some ships circled the planet, ready for defense. Others ventured into orbit, exploring the ruins of their old colonies. Humanity's scientists began restoring ancient technology, combining it with modern innovations to create a fleet unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Arvians, meanwhile, were in shock. Trelk and Viri returned to their homeworld to report the disaster. They told their leaders of the humans' unmatched strategy, their flawless technology, and their coordinated strikes. Alien commanders across multiple sectors convened to debate how to respond. 10,000 years, Trelk said bitterly. 10,000 years we thought they were gone. 10,000 years we underestimated them. And now, his voice faltered, now they are awake. But humanity did not wait for the galaxy's decisions. They moved with careful precision, ensuring no unnecessary destruction but demonstrating their superiority. Supply lines were restored. Colonies that had been abandoned were assessed for potential human reintegration. Artificial intelligences maintained control of orbital systems and planetary defenses. Humans were efficient, merciful, but undeniably dominant. The first strike had been a warning, and the message was clear. Humans were back, and the galaxy's arrogance would cost dearly if ignored. Auric looked at his crew. "We fight not for revenge. We fight to remind the galaxy that humanity survives, and when we move, we do so with purpose, intelligence, and honor. Let them see what humans are capable of." In distant star systems, alien leaders struggled to comprehend what they were witnessing. Stories of humans were not exaggerations. Myths had underestimated them. Legends had softened their image. Now, the reality was undeniable. A species thought extinct had returned, more capable, more intelligent, and more formidable than ever. And humanity was just beginning. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. News of humanity's return spread faster than light itself. Alien civilizations that had once dismissed the stories of humans as myth now faced a reality they could not ignore. Ships, once dormant in distant sectors, were quickly recalled. Councils of leaders met in panic. Fleets were reorganized. The galaxy had forgotten, but humans remembered. On Earth, the human command center buzzed with activity. Commander Auric Voss walked among his officers, observing the holographic displays of distant star systems. Every flicker on the map represented an alien civilization, a fleet, or a colony. Some had known humans once, and some had never even seen them. "Scan all known sectors for traces of human colonies," Auric commanded. "We must locate anyone who survived, anyone we can contact." Lieutenant Kara Min adjusted the display, her eyes scanning dozens of signals. "Commander, we've already detected ancient colonies in the Orion Belt, the Vega system, and remnants in the Andromeda outpost. Many have survived in secret. Their systems are damaged but functional." "Good," Auric said. "Prepare contact teams. We bring our people home. They have waited as long as we have." Humans were not just awakening themselves. They were awakening the galaxy. The old colonies remembered humans as protectors, leaders, and explorers. When contact was re-established, the reactions varied. Some celebrated their return, sending messages of loyalty and cooperation. Others, unfamiliar with humans, were wary, unsure of what to expect. In the outer sectors, alien leaders convened. The Arvians, shocked by their first encounter, were only the beginning. Species from the distant cores, the scattered nebula systems, and even the remote void regions sent envoys to understand what had happened. "They are everywhere," said High Chancellor Raltek of the Andros Dominion, his voice trembling. "They move faster than we can respond. Their technology, their strategy, it is unlike anything we have ever faced." Another alien, a tall, luminescent being from the Zyron cluster, nodded. "We underestimated them. We assumed extinction. That was our mistake." Meanwhile, humans continued to reclaim their lost colonies. Each mission was precise and efficient. Teams of engineers repaired systems, restored communications, and re-established human authority. Where humans appeared, stability followed. Trade, research, and governance flourished. Alien populations that had grown accustomed to chaos now found a new order in human presence. Yet humans did not impose control. They acted with intelligence and respect, showing that their strength was not in domination alone, but in wisdom and strategy. They offered trade, alliances, and protection, but also issued warnings. Any attempt to attack humans or their colonies would be met with decisive action. In orbit above a recovered colony in the Orion Belt, Arik addressed a council of humans and allied species. "We did not return to conquer. We returned to remind the galaxy that humans are vigilant, intelligent, and prepared. Any who choose conflict will meet a force they cannot overcome. Any who choose cooperation will find allies beyond measure." At the same time, scouts detected alien fleets attempting to form coalitions against humanity. The galaxy, having grown accustomed to the absence of humans, had begun to rebuild power structures. Some leaders, proud and ambitious, refused to believe that a long-lost species could challenge them. The humans anticipated this. Every move of the alien fleets had been predicted. Humans sent diplomatic messages first, offering peace and warning of the consequences of aggression. When these messages were ignored, humans responded with surgical precision. In the Vega system, a coalition of 3 alien species attempted to blockade human-controlled space lanes. Within hours, humans disabled the blockade without firing a single destructive shot. Ships were intercepted, communications disrupted, and fleets immobilized. The aliens panicked. They had never encountered a species that combined foresight, strategy, and speed so perfectly. "Humans are not merely awake," said Admiral Sira, a veteran officer observing the operation from Aegis Prime. "They are evolved. Every move we make seems anticipated." Arik watched the operation unfold. "We have spent 10,000 years preparing. The galaxy must learn that preparation is strength, knowledge is power, and patience is victory." The awakening of humanity also sparked a renaissance among the recovered human colonies. Scientists began collaborating across star systems, sharing knowledge accumulated over centuries of hidden development. Engineers restored and upgraded ancient human technology, combining it with resources found on distant worlds. Humanity's presence became a beacon of progress and innovation. At the same time, humans were not naive about the dangers that lay ahead. Alien species with centuries of accumulated power were still capable of resistance. Intelligence networks were established to track movements, predict threats, and ensure Earth's safety. Humans relied on logic, planning, and adaptability, traits that had allowed their species to survive the long slumber. The galaxy began to take notice. Alien ambassadors traveled to human-controlled space not out of fear, though some did, but out of respect. They came to learn, to negotiate, and to witness the power and wisdom of humanity firsthand. Humans welcomed them cautiously, offering alliances and trade, but never compromising their principles. In the distant Zyron cluster, a council debated humanity's rise. "We cannot fight them directly," said a luminescent Zyron elder. "Their fleets are unmatched. Their intelligence exceeds ours. We must find another way, or risk destruction." Meanwhile, humans continued to demonstrate that their return was not just about power. It was about influence and guidance. Human fleets escorted convoys, defended settlements, and provided aid to species suffering from natural disasters or internal conflicts. Slowly, the galaxy began to recognize humans not only as warriors but as protectors and leaders. Yet the humans did not underestimate the alien civilizations. Every action, every movement, every alliance was calculated. They understood that fear alone could not secure loyalty. Respect, fairness, and intelligence were the tools they used to guide the galaxy back to balance. In orbit above Earth, Arik spoke to his officers during a briefing. The galaxy has forgotten us. It assumed we would never return. Now that we have an obligation, not to dominate, but to lead wisely. The galaxy must understand that humans are not simply a species of warriors. We are thinkers, explorers, and guardians. Lieutenant Min nodded. And they are learning, Commander. Slowly, but they are learning. In the outer sectors, alien fleets observed human operations in awe. They began to realize that the myths were true, but even myths had underestimated the reality. Humans were not just powerful. They were precise, intelligent, and adaptable. Every fleet that tried to oppose them found itself paralyzed, outmaneuvered, or isolated. Even among allies, humans demonstrated careful judgment. They did not impose authority where it was unnecessary. They offered guidance and support to those willing to cooperate, showing that their power could be a force for stability rather than chaos. Yet the humans remained vigilant. They understood that the galaxy had grown complacent during their absence. Some civilizations, still ambitious or reckless, might attempt rebellion. Humans prepared for this with careful monitoring, fleet positioning, and intelligence gathering. As months passed, humanity's presence became undeniable. Colonies flourished, trade routes stabilized, and interstellar communications linked distant worlds. Where humans appeared, conflict decreased, and progress accelerated. The galaxy was learning, slowly but surely, that humans were not to be ignored. In a secret council chamber on Earth, Arik addressed his top commanders. "We have awakened the galaxy. We have demonstrated our power. But this is only the beginning. We must continue to guide, protect, and lead. The galaxy will challenge us. We will respond, not with anger, but with strategy, intelligence, and honor." Outside, human fleets continued their operations, observing, monitoring, and occasionally intervening when necessary. Humanity was no longer a sleeping giant. It was awake, aware, and prepared for whatever the galaxy might send. Even the most ambitious alien leaders began to reconsider their positions. Some sent envoys to negotiate alliances. Others began strengthening defenses, realizing that any misstep against humans could be catastrophic. Fear, respect, and admiration began to replace ignorance and arrogance. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy was learning a hard truth. Legends spoke of humans not because they were invincible, but because they were intelligent, adaptable, and prepared. The myths were real, the stories were true, and the humans had been asleep for 10,000 years. Not in weakness, but in preparation. The awakening of humanity was no longer a warning. It was a demonstration. A demonstration of what a species could achieve when patience, intelligence, and strategy were combined. A demonstration of why the galaxy had once feared them, and why it should remember, always, the power of humans. And for every fleet, every council, and every distant colony, the message became clear. Humanity was awake. Humanity was united. And humanity would not be ignored. The galaxy held its breath. The return of humanity had shifted the balance of power in ways no species could have predicted. Over the past months, humans had reclaimed lost colonies, restored communication networks, and demonstrated their unmatched intelligence and strategy. Yet, despite all their achievements, a challenge remained. Some species could not accept humanity's rise without resistance. On the edge of the Orion Belt, a coalition of alien powers convened in secret. Their fleets, combining the forces of multiple empires, aimed to confront humanity and reclaim control. These leaders believed that the humans' power was limited, their strategies only legends. They were wrong. Commander Arik Voss received intelligence about the Coalition while standing on the bridge of Aegis Prime. The holographic display showed hundreds of enemy ships approaching human-controlled space. "They do not understand," Arik said quietly. "They think the galaxy belongs to them. Let us remind them why humans have always led." Lieutenant Kara Min looked at him with concern. "Commander, their fleet is larger than any we've faced directly. If they attack simultaneously..." Arik smiled faintly. "Then we do what humans have always done. We think, we prepare, and we act. Numbers alone do not win battles. Strategy does." Humans had spent 10,000 years preparing for this very moment. Every potential threat had been simulated, every possible scenario calculated. They knew where enemy weaknesses lay, how supply lines could be cut, and how confusion could be used to their advantage. The first move came not from humans, but from the Coalition. Their fleets advanced, confident and aggressive. Missiles streaked through space, and energy pulses lit the darkness between stars. Alien commanders cheered, believing victory was at hand. Then humans struck. Not with reckless force, but with precision. Their ships moved with uncanny speed, striking at critical nodes in the enemy fleet. Communication lines were disrupted, propulsion systems overloaded, and key vessels disabled. It was not chaos, it was order. The humans had predicted every move before it even happened. Arik observed the battlefield, calm as ever. "Deploy the interceptors," he commanded. "Target weak points, avoid unnecessary damage, disable their capability to fight." Thousands of human fighters launched simultaneously, moving like shadows across space. Each attack was calculated, each strike purposeful. Enemy ships were disabled without unnecessary destruction, showing that humanity did not act from anger or revenge, but from intelligence and necessity. The Coalition panicked. Their leaders realized that humans were not merely powerful. They were prepared in ways no other species could imagine. Attempts to regroup were met with rapid, precise responses. One by one, enemy ships were neutralized or forced to retreat. On the bridge of Aegis Prime, Arik addressed his commanders. "Do not destroy what can be saved. Humanity does not conquer blindly. We restore, we guide, and we protect. Let them learn respect, not fear." Meanwhile, human diplomats reached out to alien leaders who had not yet joined the Coalition. Their message was simple but powerful. Cooperation with humans meant protection, prosperity, and partnership. Opposition meant defeat, but even then, humans offered mercy where possible. In the aftermath of the first confrontation, the galaxy began to understand the lesson humanity had brought. Humans were not a species that sought war for glory. They fought for order, for balance, and for the protection of their legacy. Every planet, every colony, and every fleet that witnessed human efficiency realized one thing. This species, long believed gone, was unstoppable not just in power, but in intellect and strategy. Far from Earth, ambassadors from distant systems approached human-controlled space. Some came to negotiate alliances, others to witness the humans' capabilities firsthand. Humanity welcomed them cautiously, offering guidance and collaboration. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy had a species that combined unmatched power with wisdom and fairness. Yet not all opposition was gone. Small pockets of resistance remained, scattered fleets unwilling to accept human authority. These were handled with surgical precision, neutralized without unnecessary destruction. Humanity had learned that fear alone could not secure loyalty. Respect and trust were just as important. Arik stood on the observation deck looking at the stars. "We did not return to dominate," he said. "We returned to remind the galaxy that humans endure, adapt, and protect. Our power is a tool, not a weapon of oppression." Across multiple systems, human fleets established patrols, secure trade routes, and defense outposts. Colonies thrived under protection, and interstellar commerce flourished. Species that had once fought among themselves now began to cooperate under human guidance. Civilization in the galaxy was stabilizing at a pace not seen in millennia. In the Coalition's remnants, alien leaders convened to reconsider their strategies. "We underestimated them," said Raltek of the Andros Dominion. "We thought their stories were myths, We thought extinction had removed them, but they are here, and they are perfect in coordination and planning. Humanity's response was clear but firm. Diplomatic envoys were sent to every major species. Humans respected those willing to cooperate, but defiance would be met with intelligence, strategy, and, if necessary, decisive action. This message spread quickly, and the galaxy began to understand the lesson of humanity's long slumber. Never underestimate a species that prepares. On Earth, celebrations were quiet but meaningful. Humans had not only survived but had reclaimed their place in the galaxy. Colonies communicated freely, ships traveled between star systems with ease, and humans coordinated intelligence networks spanning multiple light years. The galaxy was awake, and humanity was its guiding force. Yet Auric remained vigilant. "The galaxy will continue to test us," he said to his officers. "We must remain ready, not just to fight, but to protect, to guide, and to lead." Humanity has always survived because we adapt, because we think, and because we respect knowledge above arrogance. Humans also began exploring beyond the Milky Way. They discovered remnants of civilizations that had flourished without them, carefully studying, learning, and integrating new knowledge. Humanity's reach expanded, not recklessly, but methodically. They restored ancient human colonies and ensured that every system under their influence was stable, secure, and thriving. The final confrontation with the alien coalition had shown the galaxy a simple truth. Humans are not to be underestimated. Legends of old had been real, but even legends could not capture the full extent of humanity's capability. The galaxy had forgotten what humans could do, and now it would never forget again. Auric looked at the stars one last time. "We do not rule through fear. We do not conquer for glory. We lead through intelligence, preparation, and respect. The galaxy will remember us not for the wars we fight, but for the order and protection we bring. That is humanity's legacy." And in every system, from the furthest colony to the heart of Earth, humans remained vigilant. They were awake, aware, and ready. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity is not just a species of power, but a species of wisdom, strategy, and unyielding preparation. The stories told for thousands of years could not compare to what was now reality. The legends were true, but reality exceeded legend. Humans had slept for 10,000 years, and in their slumber they had prepared for a galaxy that had forgotten them. Now, fully awake, humanity was more than a force, it was a guiding light. It was a protector. It was a reminder to all species that underestimating humans was not only dangerous, it was impossible. And as the stars shone above, humanity looked outward, not with fear, not with vengeance, but with purpose. The galaxy had been reminded. The humans were awake, and this time, they would never sleep.